Do we have Skycam in the stream here at all? Do we have a traffic camera that we could take, maybe, John? It would be... Okay. Wow, what a nasty morning commute. We saw
Yicky.
that one accident in particular where that car hit the median.
On the 190.
Yeah, that was, being cleared just a little while ago, but... Oh, she says there's no sound. Are we...
Hello?
Can you hear us now?
Hello?
Okay, Linda says okay now.
Okay.
All right, well, let's start over here. Good morning to you. It's
Morning.
8:01.
Raining cats and dogs outside.
On the start of a wet Wednesday. Glad you're with us to start the day. What a mess. We were talking about how on the 190... Oh, yes, Fabio is back.
You see that top button
Yes.
unbuttoned.
Let me, again, show you my outfit of the day. OOTD.
OTD with ED.
Let me bring you up here. So I got
Oh my God, your
not
initials
just
are Ed.
one button, but two buttons unbuttoned. A little beater action. A little chest hair popping out. Just call me Gaston.
You better watch out. Russell, watch out.
So, what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
I don't either. Oh, I remember. Speaking of beaters, there was this one day when I was working at Channel 4 all these years ago, doing like a live shot at noon, and I was trying to explain how a suspect had taken off and what he was wearing. And so, it was Victoria Hong who was the anchor at noon. I don't know if any of you remember Victoria Hong, but she's, since moved on to different careers. But she, Victoria, this is a huge deal. The suspect took off. He's described as wearing a wife beater as well.
Mm-hmm.
Back to you.
Wearing a wife beater as well.
Yeah.
They call it a wife pleaser now.
Oh, really?
I think.
Well, here I am. I'm like, 25 years old and trying to explain. I'm like, it's called an A tank top, apparently. Who knew?
Oh. Sure. Whatever works for you,
Oh my God, so funny. I love Victoria. Here's a live look
there
outside.
It is. Icky.
Yeah, wet start to the day.
This is the 190 exit 2. A lot of people on their way to work on a Wednesday morning, this hump day, covered in rain.
I know. I can't wait for spring weather either, Robert.
This feels close, though. I mean, I'm excited by the fact that I'm not really putting, as many layers on going outside. I went to Shay's last night to see The Wiz, and I put on like my little pea coat jacket instead of my like heavy winter coat. There it is.
Ease on down the road.
Da-na-na-na-na. Don't you carry nothing that can. We're hopefully gonna talk about this a little later in the week. But if you had any reservations, I'm telling you right now, go to the show. It was super, super fun. I went with my friends, and it was great.
I walked to the gym yesterday in my sandals.
You had your toes out in March?
It felt so good.
Edward.
I will wear flip-flops as long as it's not raining or snowing. And yesterday, it was just one of those perfect days. Crystal says, Taylor, I believe I saw you briefly last night, and you were more lovely in person.
Oh, thank you, girl. You should have come said, hey, come get a hug.
Anita's right. Muddy paws today. And then Crystal's saying the show was amazing.
So good. Gotta give love to my friend, the Scarecrow. He's actually my family friend from back in Jersey.
Love this.
He went to my Nana's church, and he's incredible. So talented.
Jeff's wondering what happened to Follow the Yellow Brick Road. I think this is a different version of The Wiz.
This is the black version, brother.
Yeah, so...
Ease on down the road.
Very urban, I think is what it's classified as, right?
Sure.
So... It's great, though. I love The
It's so
Wiz.
fun. It's just a twist on the classic story, which, they love to do a la Wicked, The Wiz. The original movie has Michael Jackson, Diana Ross.
Oh my God.
But that's based on this musical. That's showing at Shays this week.
Shays was packed, and that show was incredible.
Really, really good.
So hopefully we'll have a special guest this week. Hi, Tim. Good morning. Glad you're with us.
morning.
Okay, let's talk tariffs this morning because a lot of you are already weighing in here, and we saw the president kind of double down on his demand for tariffs, his implementation of tariffs over the last couple of weeks last night. And he said that, look, this is a great way to get American-made goods, plants built in the U.S., and to stop illegal immigration and trafficking of narcotics like fentanyl.
Yeah, and we didn't know exactly how things were going to go because, in essence, this is a trade war, right? And will things ease with Canada? Will we have some peace talks? Will we get somewhere? But Trump really doubling down on this in his address to the nation yesterday, saying, look, we're staying on this. There's going to be reciprocal tariffs. This is something that we need to do. and he's not holding back on any of this. So a lot of questions on how this is going to impact us, how this will impact you, prices rising. We talked about that this morning with our political analyst, Joe St. George. Good conversation.
Daniel wondering, what are the tariffs going to do with our gas prices? Great question. We haven't really seen gas prices going up. We've seen them going down, in fact.
20 cents down from last year.
But what we heard from Joe St. George this morning, as you mentioned, is that, we're going to be feeling the effect of these tariffs for some time. The president acknowledging that, more or less, saying we're okay with that if it means changes in the long term. He called it a slight
disturbance.
Right. Though, when you consider how much it's being taxed, imports are being taxed, exports are being taxed just as much. We know with the Canadians, they are going to be taxing $108 billion worth of goods.
Yes.
So it's a lot of money.
And toys, I think, are a big one, too. That's another impact. I think, when you hear about tariffs and these things happening, there's so much, right, to talk about, and it's very political. But, when we get down to what actually is impacted here, there's a lot that we can talk about. One of those things being toys. Many of these toys, if you look on the bottom of them, say made in China. So, here we are in March. Do you start thinking about buying toys early for Christmas?
Well, this is one of the things that our consumer reporter, John Matarese, was talking about as well. And yeah, after we talked about that this morning, I said, okay, let's talk about this now. Are you concerned about providing for your family come the holidays? I mean, we're in March. Christmas was 4 months ago. But are you already looking ahead, kind of planning for what could inevitably be a really expensive holiday season?
Right.
And what John was saying, and what some of the people were saying in his story, was that the hot toys may not be out for a while, like summer, September, October time. But if you're trying to stock up now instead of trying to spend all of your money around the holiday season and spread out that expense, do you start now?
Yeah, I mean, do you just start saving in general? Mark says a lot of our economy is intertwined with Canada, cross-border shopping, so this is going to affect us, being a border city, of course. Kelly says, good morning. Not sure how it's going to stop the drug thing. The only thing that would stop that would be for people not to use those drugs. I think the goal here is to get Canada to do the work and crack down on their side. So we'll see if there are more policies put in place as a result of this, but right now it seems like the trade war is really...
it's interesting because some people are saying, and the facts that have, come out of this is that 1% of fentanyl is coming across the Canadian border. And the president says, yeah, it's just 1% because we don't know how much more is getting across the border. And he says that they're not doing a good job of cracking down on it.
Anita says, I'm trying to shop for Easter at this point, not ready for Christmas.
I get it. And, I'm not trying to rush things along and, but I'm wondering, Kim, she says she's concerned. I get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, grocery shopping every day at this point. You got to be looking at every single price. You got to be shopping around like we talked about yesterday.
Right.
I mean, Easter dinner, if you're cooking, that might be more expensive this year.
So here's what Lynn says. I'm more worried about the cost of food and everyday household items that we need with it all going up. We purchase so much from Canada, Mexico, and China. I know eating healthy is so hard because so much of that so much of that fresh produce, rather, comes from other countries. Bananas, avocados. We're talking other fruits and vegetables as well. Strawberries now, some people were saying they see in the grocery store. I think you were mentioning it from Florida.
Oh, yeah. I have seen some.
Farmers markets and locals.
That's something we talked about today.
Lynn says, even if the borders were completely closed, we would still see drugs coming into the country.
Anita says eating healthy is so expensive. You're so right.
True.
Trying to make those decisions. Oh, I'm going to get my fruits and veggies. And you're going in and it's, however many dollars a pound. And you're like, oh my gosh.
Great question, Robert. Are people going to have to use plastic eggs instead of real eggs for Easter since prices are so high? Do you dye eggs this year?
Well, no way.
I mean, and if you're making an Easter meal, how much more expensive is that going to be?
The butter lamb is going to be a little smaller.
It's the same thing for the Jews, too. Passover is coming up,
Huge.
And, we use eggs in a lot of things because we don't use bread to bind or, wheat to bind. So that's a big thing for us also.
Oh, boy. And it's the start of the Lenten season. Today's Ash Wednesday. Let us know what you're giving up for Lent, if anything, if you're participating this year, if you're taking part, if there's something you're going to be giving up. I'm giving up sweets.
Wow, good for you.
So I had a lot of punch yesterday. My tummy hurt.
Did it? I'm sure it did. You're probably really full.
Aaron Mikowski gives up ice cream and ice caps every year.
Yeah, that sucks. Elizabeth says the fruit and veggies are concerning for me. My daughter wants fruit every day when I pack her lunch. See, that's great. Aldi's corned beef, Mark says, is $3. $3 a pound, Mark? Is that what it was? Because we were talking to Katie's mom the other day, and she says it was so expensive that she didn't buy it.
$7.99 a pound.
Yeah. If you can shop in Canada, Susan says, great exchange rate. And then Julie, glad you're with us as always. The price of everything has been going up steadily for years. Get used to it. Buy from local farmers.
I'm looking forward to farmers market season though. When that comes back around, we can be outside and you can shop. I mean, I feel like those will be even bigger this year.
Well, and doesn't that just mean that spring is also on the way?
I know.
Spring, summer.
We're so close.
Karen's also suggesting there are things that we can use instead of eggs, substitutes. There's sweet potatoes, there's applesauce, there's banana. Kelly says, real eggs. I just dropped $15 pack of eggs yesterday and it hurt. Oh my gosh.
And an 18 pack. Good gracious. Lynn's with me giving up the sweets this year. In past years, I've given up screen time, which we talked about this morning, which was great for my mental health. I gave up cursing one year. I was trying to watch the language, and that was probably the toughest thing I've ever done. Just singing songs in the car. I'm like, oh, darn. What else did I give up? I gave up fast food one year, so I'm doing sweets this year.
Okay. Is that difficult for you?
Sweets?
Yeah.
I mean, I do a lot of baking. Yes, Jonathan.
Go ahead, Jen.
The cursing thing was before you met me, right? Because you can't get through a conversation with me without
Here we go with the attacks again. Go away.
See how I get treated, Cuppies?
He's constantly coming for me for no reason. Sweets, giving up sweets is hard. Only because I bake so much.
Yeah.
I brought in this bread yesterday. It's pretty good, but it's a chocolate bread, so I can't have that anymore. And I just love like cookies and ice cream at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a cake over the weekend, and yesterday I just took a fork straight to it. I was like,
you got to do it. I mean, if that's what you're giving up.
It'll be good for me. I think for the discipline and for the inches around the waist.
Tell me about it.
So
MB, good morning to you. I stopped at Aldi's. They didn't have any corned beef. Word is out apparently. So Mark, the secret's out. Michael says, giving up believing the Democrats want to work together after last night. Okay, give us some more information about this, Michael. Why do you think that Democrats don't want to work together after last night? Do you think that it's just a one-sided thing, or do you think that we can get some bipartisan support over certain issues? I'm interested in your thoughts here. Important to share your voice. Kathy says we have corned beef place right in the southern tier. Patties. I think they have a store at the facility. I know their stuff is carried in a few stores. Where is it, Kathy? Where in the southern tier is Patties?
Jeanette says, do I still lick the spoon? That would be hard for bake. I'm going to try not to. I'm also going to try to bake things that I don't exactly love.
Okay, like what?
Which helps. Well, I mean, I'm going through my cookbooks normally. So like my next thing has like a lot of pistachios in it. I don't love pistachios, so hopefully I won't be compelled to have a little lick of the spoon.
Well, I mean, look, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, it'll be okay.
God will forgive you if you slip up here or there. It's all about forgiveness.
100%.
Mark says it was in today's ad talking about the corned beef. Crystal says the farmers we get our eggs from said the price of chicks went from about $1.25 to over $4 each.
Yeesh.
That's per chicken. So obviously the chicks grow up into chickens.
They mature.
And then
Life
they
cycle.
produce eggs. And
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
that is a great philosophical question. What do you think? Enlighten us.
Jonathan?
Mishaps. The chicken or the egg? Which came first?
I'm going to seek help. I'm going to phone a friend. John?
I'm saying chicken.
Chicken, says John.
Show your face.
I'll give the people what they want.
Melly.
You're saying chicken.
I'm saying chicken all day, every day.
Where'd the chicken come from, brother?
Capital G-O-D.
Okay, yeah. You put one chicken out there.
It's miraculous. I
Well,
mean, look,
chicken
Mary
or the
could do
egg?
it.
I guess it would have to be 2 chickens,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Not necessarily.
It's a lot for my brain right now. Lynn says to share the recipes. Okay, cool. And I was talking to DJ yesterday. He had this idea. He was like, you should be making content out of this, like how I do like the little vlogs for the morning show. He thinks I should be making reels and TikToks of my baking. So maybe I will.
No doubt.
And then I can share the recipes at the end. But
DJ's
yeah,
always got good ideas.
if you want the chocolate orange swirl bread, let me know, Lynn. I can send it to you.
Connie says sales on corned beef will be next week. Aaron says it's definitely the egg.
The egg
that
first.
Came first.
I don't think I've ever had corned beef.
The avian flu, does it only affect some birds? Why isn't the price of actual chicken going up? That's a great question. I don't really know.
again, above where my brain is functioning.
Julie says, "Hey, John." Joy says the chicken came first.
Mm.
Lynn, the dinosaur to the chicken to the egg. Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Prehistoric. This supports my baking internet persona.
Oh, Kathy says Patty's corned beef is made by Ford Brothers in West Valley. Okay, yeah, I know exactly where that is. If you get off the 219, right? Is that? Am I thinking of something else? Maybe I am. There's another. Maybe it's Holshers that's off the 219 as you're going to Ellicottville. I'll have to check. But correct me if I'm wrong, Kathy. But I think maybe I'm thinking of something different. Bird flu only affects. Oh, okay,
right.
good. Whew.
Woo! Oh, Diane has the answer to the question from Anita. Bird flu only affects certain types of species. So just the egg, but not the chicken?
I'm going to Google this.
In the meantime, everyone's supporting me on my journey. Okay. I don't have the phone storage for this right now, so I'm going to need to clear out some space. But I was going to do like a minute videos of, how they do like the opening and mixing and doing all that stuff. And then like post my little content and share what I'm doing. So it's not always baking. Sometimes I cook. I made like a scallop dish last week and I'm really getting better. So you guys can watch me on my journey. When I start, I'll share with the cookies. I'll let you guys know. Thank you for supporting me in my journey.
What do you mean you don't have the phone storage right now?
I don't have the gigabytes, man.
Do you need a new phone?
No, I just got a new phone, but I should have gotten like more storage space.
What do you have?
250.
And you're already done?
Oh no, sorry, I have 128.
Even still. What are you doing?
It's all pictures. I need to get rid of my pictures.
Yeah, Google Photos or something, man.
Oh, you can do that, huh?
Yeah.
My Gmail's also full.
New account.
I need to declutter. I need to do some spring cleaning.
Okay, so oh, that's a great idea, Crystal. So I'm just looking.
Do short reels and include your recipes. I'll try. I'm going to try for you guys.
Okay, so NPR has an article out there. Chicken wings are a different matter, is what this section says.
Why?
Chickens raised for meat, known as broilers, live on different farms than those that produce eggs.
And those ones are the ones being affected.
And while broilers are not immune from the avian flu, they haven't been hit nearly as hard as their egg-laying cousins. This guy from the National Chicken Council in this NPR article says they're typically younger and older birds are more susceptible to the virus. Broiler chickens are not on the farm as long either. They're only on the farm about 7 weeks. So I guess that's why the price of chicken isn't necessarily being affected as eggs are.
Okay. And he just says thank you for your help in describing that. I was getting a kick out of you Google searching that. I was putting in like a full paragraph in the Google search. I'm so shocked that he even came out with an answer. He was typing for like 10 minutes.
Sometimes you have to be very specific with the Google.
Why are certain chickens not affected by egg pricing?
Mark says get a mini drive for your phone.
So that's smart too. You guys are geniuses. It's literally a matter of taking the time to get myself off.
Okay, I have a question. Do you delete pictures ever?
Well, because it's been an issue, yeah. I'm not deleting.
Okay.
I delete like long videos or like things I don't need, or like I have my iPad, so I'll transfer like my Italy trip. Like I put all those pictures on my iPad because I don't need to have them on my phone. But I still have way too many. I mean, how many pictures do you have on your phone?
Well, I just recently got a new phone.
You delete? I have 11,000 pictures.
Yeah, that's a lot, Taylor.
Is it?
And so I have my Google Photos that I have all of my pictures on.
Okay.
So everything just automatically uploads.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna get Google
great.
Photos then, and then I can have enough space for me to become viral on the internet to be a baking sensation.
There you go. I love that for you. Sarah says I often feel bullied when my phone or Google Drive tells me they're full. I know.
Me too. What are you yelling at me for?
It's terrible.
I was sending Snapchats to my friend because that's how we communicate these days.
The youngins.
And it like cut me off. It was like you're out of storage, and I was like, oh. Okay.
Kathy says, Taylor, why are you not using Apple Cloud to store all that?
That costs money, girl. And my sister is the breadwinner and the runner of the account. And if I buy more iCloud space, she's going to get mad.
Jessica says, I have 25 hens. $4 a dozen for what? For eggs, Jessica? Help me here. Robert says some restaurants are doing temporary price fees separate for eggs and taking it away as soon as prices drop. But sure, some places raise prices and won't drop price once prices actually do drop.
Denny's one of those places.
Jessica says meat chickens are usually killed between 7 and 24 weeks.
Oh my gosh, they're just babies.
Interesting.
They're
chickies. When does a chicken actually mature? What is like a
The
chicken maturation?
level
Yeah,
of a
exactly.
chicken.
Um,
John's Googling. Mark says this photo goes to OneDrive. Anita has 61,000 pics.
that's a lot. Diane says, I'm out of storage. Also, not paying for more. I have 12,000 pictures.
See?
Oh, okay. So $4 a dozen eggs, Jessica says. Okay, that's great.
Cheaper than the store.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you sell them, Jessica? Are you a farmer who sells their eggs? Or
Are they pretty colors?
Yeah, like, share some information, girly. Help me out.
So if you have Prime, there's some kind of free storage. With Prime, like Amazon, Jeff Bezos.
I'll be honest. So I pay about 99 cents a month for my storage on Google Photos at this point.
I can't make my sister do that.
I mean, it's $1 a month. You're paying $12 a year, so
Okay.
it's worth it. No, when does the chicken cross the road, Linda? That's a great question.
Oh, why does the chicken cross the road?
Okay, so the maturation, 4 months for most laying eggs is mature. How do you like that? So 7 weeks for meat, between 7 and 24
So 2.
weeks, we're getting like what? If 4 months is mature, I can't do the math. Peter, help
4
me.
times 4 is 16.
I'm really bad at it. Pat Gray says, aren't we all tired of talking about egg prices? Yes, but you know what? They're not going down. So
Nope.
what are we going to do?
You want to talk about the food delivery?
Yes, let's do it.
Situation. Okay, so in effort to save some money, and maybe you're going to the grocery store and you're like, this is all costing too much. I don't want to spend that time in the kitchen cooking. I just want prepackaged meals. And a lot of people find it to be a lot more convenient, a lot healthier. It's already set up. Do you do any of these services? Do you enjoy them? Would you consider it? My mom does the Factor meals, and she really likes them. My mom does not cook. If I ever saw my mom in the kitchen, I would call the police.
Something's wrong.
If Gina was in there with a pot and a pan, I would be like, what's wrong with my mother? So she likes to do those because she prefers not to cook. So they're nice and easy for her. She's a fitness queen,
Love
so
it.
she can get it done. You like to do these too.
I do. Can I just pause for 1 second because I want to go to Jessica's comment. She does homesteading and pickles
Ooh.
all of her vegetables from the garden and makes sourdough products. I sell eggs. Yes, they're amazing.
Yes, girl.
Jessica, can we come and see what you do? I think that would be a great story.
Mhm.
I think that would be a really interesting story to tell. Can you send me a text message, Jessica? I think you already have, but here's my phone number, 716-713-3514. Call me now, like Miss
Calling
Cleo.
me now. My dad's laughing.
I saw that, but
God bless you, Edward.
I think that would be a really great story, Jessica, to tell. So we'd love to hear from you. Okay, yes.
Bless you.
Excuse me. I do eat local in terms of meal prep.
You right?
Eat right. They are $8 meals, and if you're
How
trying
many are you doing?
so we'll do like 10 a week.
Okay.
So in other words, I'll have 5, Russ will have 5. We either have them for dinner or for lunch. But the reality is they're giving you all of the options that you would normally eat, but they're cooking it for you. And they're telling you what all of the macros are on the meal, how many calories, how much fat, how many carbs. And I think that really helps when you're trying to
When you're trying to track things and
Yeah.
keep it trim, keep looking like Fabio.
I mean, suave and debonair.
I used to do Eat Right, and I loved it. And I think it was really great for me when I was first trying to get rid of all my COVID weight that I gained. My only issue is I get icked out when I have the same food over and over and over again after a while.
Russ is like that.
I like the routine of it, but after a while, I would like eat the same thing. And the food is delicious at Eat Right. I absolutely love it, but I would eat the same thing and I'd be like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I started cooking a little bit more and getting better at that.
Sure.
And then I started going to Trader Joe's as well, and they have a lot of frozen meals too, which is similar.
Salt in those frozen meals
I
is a
know.
big deal. You know, I think that. Oh, okay. Jessica has my number. Thank you, Jessica. When it comes to convenience, is there a price to pay? Sure, but is it worth it? I think so.
I think so. And it's just a guarantee. You don't have to do it takes the guesswork out of dinner or lunch or whatever meal you're doing. I have found so many times, like, I'll come home and be like, I don't want what I have. I'm just going to order something. But if you already have the meal set, ready to go, warm it up, nice and healthy.
Yeah. Though on the flip side, Elizabeth says, I found that those meal packages are not cost effective for a family of 5. Yeah, that could be a little expensive.
When
I
you
can
have
totally
more
see
people.
that. Is this the permanent spot for Second Cup? Adam
Good
Campos,
morning,
good
Adam.
morning. Yes, welcome to Epcot.
Are you jealous?
No, we're not in Florida, but we could be. Jeff Baker says, we all have your number. So funny.
Anita says, "Why do we have all these phones?" I just realized it looks like we work for Verizon or AT&T. We have a personal phone and a work phone.
Yeah.
So we just
You never know what's going to happen.
2 phones. Kevin Gates, you know that song?
No.
I got 2 phones, one for the plug and one for the load.
What's that? The plug and the low?
It's drugs.
Oh.
Taylor,
Adam knows that song.
Taylor, please keep slamming your phone on the desk.
I'm
It's
so
great
sorry.
for the stream.
Sorry.
So funny. This morning, I don't know if you were watching at 5:00. We were giving you a live look at Niagara Falls.
And Ed goes, "You're looking live at Niagara Falls."
It just came out. Literally, it just slipped out of my mouth. You know, a lot has slipped out of my mouth today, unintentionally, of course. But you know, sometimes I'm very intentional. Today was just a non-intentional day. But the falls, the awe in it really was
Niagara
like
Falls.
it was something. Holy cow.
Coffee, chocolate.
Where did that come from? It was funny what he says. Yeah, it was a lot. Robert says, it's hard sometimes for me as a single person to always cook meals for a week. Meal prepping is not easy and it's time consuming. And honestly, again, I think it's the convenience factor that goes along with it. Is it worth it to you? Jeff Baker, exactly that. Long Island accent comes out just...
Long Island.
It happens. Peter... A lot slipped out of your mouth just today only. Today it was.
Chris, this is the accents creep up on you. Did you find that you like grew out of your accent? Like, was it ever like super strong or?
Oh yeah. I mean, have I grown out of it? Yeah, but I've also worked really hard to
get rid of it.
Yeah.
When did you think you like made the switch over and you were like, okay?
When I was down in
done.
Virginia, you know, it really. I really tried hard to almost like regionalize myself. Because I didn't want to, you know, like they have an accent down there too. It's very prevalent, the Southern accent. But I didn't want to be the Yankee among the Southern belles. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Anita said she slips back to her Pittsburgh accent after she goes for a couple days.
Yins.
But you can say, yeah, yins down there.
Warsh.
You guys have some interesting words. I don't think I have an accent. I never have felt like I have an accent. Every once in a while, people say they can hear like a little bit of Jersey in me, but I don't
really think Jersey has an accent.
I'm also closer to Philly, and like the only things we say are water instead of water.
Yeah.
Or we also say like instead of Italian ice, we say like water ice. Drawing.
Water ice. What is that?
Like Italian ice, like
okay.
that you get from Rita's.
Oh, okay. I mean, there is water ice, or there's
water ice,
cream ices.
Water.
So, Crystal wondering, do I ever have a dialect coach? Nope, I just did it on my own. Robert, born and raised in Florida, still have a Southern accent, even though I'm Hispanic. Linda, I grew up in Amherst. That was
the one thing, the first thing I noticed, other than how there were no lines on the road in the city of Buffalo. The second thing I noticed when I moved here is the way that you all speak. With the A, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. It's Pop Nut Soda, Jessica says. Crystal's.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I thought was so interesting? And I have really been intrigued by this with the last minute. Fort Erie is so close to Buffalo, but they don't have a Buffalo accent, and we don't have a Fort Erie accent. They have a Canadian accent, and it is so interesting to me how, like, a river separates us, but literally we are so much closer to Fort Erie than we are to Amherst in some cases, and they don't talk to us. Right.
It's got to be school. It's got to be the school system.
Isn't it so weird?
It is funky. I love the dialect. You ever take the dialect quiz?
No.
We got to do that one day.
I love that for us. Anyway, thanks so much for being with us on this Wednesday. It is what it is, Ed. I know.
Niagara Falls.
Have a great day.
Bye, guys.